to the General Conversation Podcast. I'm Valerie.
This is Cord.
And this is Season 2, Episode 2. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, YouTube, or your favorite listening station. Today, we have a special guest. She is a mortgage specialist. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, my name is tdaniels, and I am with Geneva Financial.
Okay, so today, guys, we're bringing you a specialist because we want to give you insight about when to buy a house, or just if you have any ideas about it. We also put this on our Instagram, and we just got some questions here today, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to ask the mortgage specialist kind of the first steps about buying a house and going forward, the do's and the don'ts, and just get a refresher. If you already have a home, maybe she can list some things that you can do to improve what you already have, or about what's the money you put money inside?
It's
equity. There we go.
Equity.
Look, you see who have a house and who don't.
But equity in your property, please. Thank you.
So I'm curious, what is the difference between a realtor and a mortgage specialist?
Okay, a realtor helps you find a home and negotiates the price. Okay, and a mortgage specialist helps you find the loan to purchase the home.
Okay. So you work more on the mortgage specialist side. So you're going to help them find the loans to acquire the house.
Correct.
Okay. Can you still work with someone who already has a home, or this is only for people trying to get a house?
No, I can help people that already have a home, just in case if they want to refinance their home to be able to get a lower rate, or some might want to get some cash out of their home. If they have equity in their home, they're able to get cash out to be able to do some home repairs or pay off some debt that they want, or whatever they choose to do with their funds.
Okay. And also, we're in Georgia. Are you only licensed in Georgia?
No, my company is licensed in many states.
Okay.
So just let me know what state you want to work in, and I'll be quite sure I can help you there.
Okay.
All right. So first thing I want to know is, what's the first step you do in buying a house? Like, what's the first thing you need to do?
Okay. The first thing you need to do is to find your local loan officer's mortgage specialist, preferably Taffy Daniels, which you need to find.
Okay.
Okay. And so that you can know where you stand with your credit, with your debt to income ratio, how much home you can afford, and if there's anything that you need to clean up on your credit, you have the opportunity to find that out before you go looking for a home.
So get the money first.
Yes, always get the money first.
So would you say it's easier to start with a loan specialist first? And then, some people are like, well, I'll just do it myself. But if you don't have the money, that's why you would need a loan specialist, correct? A mortgage specialist.
Yes, unless you have cash to buy a home straight out, you would need a mortgage specialist so that we can help you acquire the money to pay for the home.
Okay.
So that's why you need a loan specialist.
Okay. All right. So let's say you go get your loan specialist, your mortgage specialist. I'm sorry.
Yes.
The mortgage specialist. And they approve. Well, so the mortgage specialist actually talks to the bank for you to get a particular loan, or do you go to the bank yourself? So how does that?
Well, if you was to come to a mortgage specialist like myself, you don't have to go any further. I would shop many banks. We are a lender and we are a broker, so we have a list of mortgage companies or other lenders that we can get you financed through without you going to each individual bank.
Gotcha. Okay, so that takes a lot of the.
And I also know that means it requires you running their credit. When you're shopping for these loans for a home, does it affect the credit? Does it ding it? Like when you go get a car, does it ding it many times when you're shopping? How does that work?
Yes, and that's the reason why it's best for you to come to a mortgage specialist, because we're only going to pull your credit that one time.
Okay.
And once we pull your credit that one time, your credit is good for 120 days. Basically for 4 months. But if you go to Bank of America and Chase,
trying to do it yourself.
Yes, trying to do it yourself. Each one of those are going to pull your credit individually, and this is going to cause your score to drop.
Okay. All right.
So you said that once you guys pull the credit, it lasts for about 4 months.
Yes, it's good for 4 months.
So I have a question about that. That how long should you wait before you add additional purchases to your home? Let's say we come to you, you pulled out credit. And, you know, sometimes I'm sure you run into this where you have people that try to go make purchases, but they're also in the process of trying to look for a home. So what can be a downside to doing that?
Okay. Well, first of all, I encourage you, please, if you're in the process of purchasing a home, do not go and make any new purchases.
Okay.
Because for one, it can lower your debt to income ratio. And what that does, that determines how much home you can afford. And then also it can lower your credit score, which will affect if you'll be able to qualify for that home. And it also affects your interest rate. So if you're in the process of purchasing a home, do not make any new purchases. Do not try to beat something before it hits your credit, because we have this tool that will identify new debt even though you have not pulled your credit. So if you find a home within that 120 days, we do have tools that will show us if you have, it's called undisclosed debt that you have not told us about.
Okay.
So
Could you elaborate a little more on the debt to income ratio? Just give people a basic overview of exactly what that means.
Okay, debt to income ratio is this. Okay, they will take what your monthly bills are, debt bills, and what your gross monthly income is, and they will divide it, and that will be your debt to income ratio. Now, that's how the banks determine if they're going to give you this loan. So you can't have your ratio I don't want to give you like a one particular ratio, because it goes on many factors when we do what they call the automatic underwriting system when we go through Fannie Mae. So the best thing is just to keep your debt to income ratio as low as possible, because again, that affects how much home you can buy. That's just like if you have, I'll just give a quick example. If you make $2,000 a month, and if you have a $500 car note, and you have, we just say your monthly payment on your house is $500. Okay, so now you have a $500 car note, a $500 monthly house note, and you are making $2,000. So 500 plus 500 is 1,000. Okay, you divide that 1,000 by that 2,000. That's 50%. So that means that 50% of your monthly income before taxes is going towards your debt. So you can't 55%, 60%, it's not going to work. So that's why it's important to keep your debt to income ratio low.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think you already covered this. One of my questions was, how long is your application good for when you apply for a loan? But you said it. Yeah. Is that a good? Yeah. Is that? So you say it lasts for 4 months, though? Didn't you say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And let me explain with that also. Now, your application is good for 120 days.
Okay.
So if you don't find a home within that 120 days, we have to re-pull your credit. So that's another reason why it's very important that you do not acquire new debt at all until you are finished purchasing your home.
Okay. So can you talk about the different loans that you all offer?
Okay. We have the FHA, we have the VA, and we have the conventional.
So can you tell us a little bit about any of the loans that you think will be like helpful for a first-time home buyer?
Okay. A FHA loan is really a good loan to get for first-time home buyers.
Okay.
They do allow your debt to income ratio to be a little bit higher than the regular conventional loan.
And VA loans are only for veterans, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can you reuse any of these loans? Like, let's say, okay, I got a house and now I want to go get another house. Can I do FHA or any of those? Or is it just one time, that's it?
Okay, well, you can only have one FHA loan at a time.
Okay.
Now, if you have a FHA loan and you want to purchase another loan, you still have to have the FHA loan for a year. Now,
Okay.
you will be able to go get a conventional loan, but you can't get another FHA loan at that particular time. But you will be able to get another FHA loan but not you can only have one FHA loan at a time.
Okay.
One of my questions is, can you kind of explain us the appraisal? Because I know for one thing is some people get appraised for a certain amount, and you say, hey, well, the bank offered me this amount, and the bank like, well, no, we're not gonna give you that amount because the house ain't worth that amount. So can you kind of elaborate on that for us?
Well, basically, the appraisal doesn't come in until you have found the home, and an appraisal is a bank required. You have to have an appraisal. Most banks is going to require an appraisal before they loan any money on a home, because they want to make sure that they're loaning money on a home that's worth what they're loaning. So, and in reference to, I think the question you're trying to ask is, for instance, if you was to find a home for $300,000, and once we do our appraisal and it only comes in at, it's only appraised for $250,000, you have an option. You can still purchase that home, but you would have to pay the difference of that $50,000. The bank is only going to loan you what the home is worth.
Okay.
So the bank will loan them $250,000, but they'll have to find $50,000 of the money somewhere else if they don't have it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Better hustle, I guess.
How important are home inspections, and when does that come in? Because that's not the same thing as appraisal, right?
No, that's two different things.
Okay. So when should a person, or when does the home inspection process kick in?
Okay. Well, once you find a home, the first thing you go and speak to the mortgage specialist. Okay. Then the realtor go and find a home.
Okay.
The mortgage specialist tell you can qualify for $300,000. The real estate agent go and find you a home. Okay. And then part of the negotiation with the price, that's when you will go and have your inspection done. And then you have maybe 10 days to be able to get an inspection done. You and the seller can negotiate the price if there are any repairs or anything that need to be done.
Okay.
So if the inspection is not up to your liking, then you don't have to purchase that home, and you'll be able to get your earnest money back.
Okay. What's earnest money?
Okay, earnest money is money that you have to put up front. They call it, it's a deposit.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's probably $500 to $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, question with the inspection, because I know some people, go get an inspection. They're like, well, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. Does that affect what the bank says as well?
Well, certain things do.
Okay.
Now, just because you don't like the color of the lamp in the living room, that's not affecting the bank. As long as it's not affecting the home itself, the foundation, or anything structural, that's between you and the seller.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Can you write that into, let's say you get the home inspection, can you write that into your, contract or not? Say, hey, I'm willing to buy this house, but you guys have to fix X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and that's basically what happened. So basically what you would do is your realtor go and find a home. You all negotiate the price. And then within that contract, within that offer, because it's not a contract yet, within that offer, you put in that we will have an inspection done. We want to offer you $300,000, but we're going to have an inspection done, and give us 10 days for the inspection. So within those 10 days, you go get an inspection, and then if there's anything that the inspector come that, he would let you know everything, and then you and your realtor kind of go on what can you live with and what can you not live with.
Okay.
And sometimes you have to understand that if it's a used home, it's a used home. So the home is not going to be in brand new condition. So some things is just what it is. So, but if some things that you want the seller to repair, then you and your realtor will write down, hey, per our inspection, this needs to be repaired, this needs to be repaired, or whatever. And so then the seller and their agent will come back and let you know if this is something we're going to repair or if it's something we're not going to repair. So you all kind of go back and forth and negotiate on that. And then, if it's to your liking, you continue on with the process. If it's not, then you just kill the deal and you get your earnest money
back. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that process called? Because sometimes you can go on sites where they have the homes, and then they still have the home up, but they have contingency, or they have little notes about, like, I guess it's in process, but they have like little.
And that's what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. They're in there what they call contingency period.
Okay.
So when it says contingency, most likely the inspection is going on.
Oh, gotcha.
The homeowner's inspection is going on, or the appraisal is going on, or whatever. So then it changes, and then it goes to pending. So after then, okay, the home inspection is gone, everything is okay, and then it moves to the next. Then it might just say under contract. It just kind of says different things depending on what system and what system you're using.
Which would be? Do you think is it faster to get a home that's already like been used or whatever, or like the building, like how they have houses where it's they're new construction homes, and so everything you want is kind of right there. You don't have to kind of fix anything. So is it quicker to get like a new built home or an older home?
Well, the situation with buying new and buying used is this here. Most of the time, when you go to a new builder, they're going to want you to use the lender that they have on site.
Okay.
And especially if you want them to pay some closing costs. So if you have already been pre-approved with another lender, and if you're kind of on the edge or you're tight with your credit score, you don't need to be going too many places to get a home. But if you see a home and that's what you want, I encourage you to get what you want. But those are the consequences that you will face if you was to go to a new builder site. Now, if you have a 700 score or something like that, and 3 points won't hurt you, go ahead. But if you riding on thin ice,
615,
don't buy nothing. Don't look. Don't go in no store.
One question. So, can you talk to us a little bit about what are closing costs? What are closing costs exactly? What are we talking about?
Closing costs are fees associated with getting a loan. Everybody has to get paid. So here in Georgia, you have to use an attorney. So you have to pay for the attorney.
Okay.
Of course, Georgia state tax, you have to.
Everybody get their money.
Everybody got to get their money.
Give me cut.
You have to get homeowners insurance.
Okay.
Property taxes, you have to put those certain months, what they call in escrow. So all those fees are considered closing costs.
Can this be rolled into the loan itself, or is this something you got to come out of pocket with?
Well, depending on certain loans will allow you to roll it in.
Okay.
Most loans you have to pay yourself, or that's something that you and your realtor negotiate with the seller when you're doing.
Gotcha.
The contract.
All right, so that's all pretty much at the negotiation table
yes.
At that point. Okay. One thing I did want to hit on is people who either are in bankruptcy or who have filed bankruptcy before. I know it's a big concern as far as like, can they buy a house? Is it going to affect them and things like that?
Yes, they still are able to get a home. They have to wait a couple of years or so. It's a difference between if you have a Chapter 7 or if you have a Chapter 13.
Mm-hmm.
There's a waiting period, but you can still purchase a home.
Okay.
During that time that, let's say I've applied for a loan with you all, and I know you say it's good for 4 months, but let's say I've done paid off some more things. So that could only help, right? Like if I go and I have like a car, and my car has $3,000 left on it, and I pay off $3,000. Does that increase it, or does it like, well, it can only get worse? It can't.
Now, that's a tricky situation. For the simple fact that the only way that you can help establish credit is to have credit.
Right.
So now if you have 2 or 3 credit cards, or maybe a student loan or some other credit, maybe pay the car off and maybe not. But if you have a car and you owe less than 10 months on it, we're not going to count that as a debt towards your debt to income ratio.
Okay.
But if you only have 2 credit lines and one is your car and one is a credit card, I wouldn't suggest paying that car off because it will possibly drop your score. So now you only have one line of credit.
Okay.
I guess my that kind of leads into another question is, because we talked about the debt to income ratio. I know paying something off like a car note, you got an extra $300 or maybe we'll say $500 now in your pocket. That greatly increases your debt to income ratio as far as your income goes, right?
Yeah. Now remember, if you only owe 10 months payments on it,
you said you don't count it.
we don't count it.
Gotcha.
If you owe 10 or less, we're not going to count that towards your debt to income ratio.
Okay.
So you don't have to be so pressed to pay that off to purchase a home because of the debt to income ratio.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the better your debt to income ratio, the better your interest rates and things like that would be.
Yes, and better to qualify.
Better to qualify. Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about refinancing. When can owner do that?
I want the money now.
Well, the first thing you have to do is to get some equity out your home to be able to
I want the money now.
finance. So if you just purchased a home last week
Like, no.
and your for instance, if you purchased a home for $300,000 and the appraisal came in at $300,000, at this present time you don't have any equity, so you would not be able to refinance your home.
Okay.
So,
But when can someone do it? Like maybe like
So-
a year or two, a few years in?
yeah, when you get some more equity, or if the price of the homes rate rise in the neighborhood or something like
Okay.
that, you can get some equity out of it.
Okay.
I mean, even if sometime if your home come in, likelihood most likely that won't be happening, but maybe sometime it does. If you're buying a home for $300,000 and it appraised at $100,000, then you have $100,000 equity. You can get some funds out of your home.
Mhm.
But most people, if my house is worth $400,000, I'm selling it for $400,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
My house is haunted. No.
It's got ghosts. and stuff.
All right. So, what are some key things that you can do as far as raising your home value? What's some key points you can improve on? As people say, "Hey, I got this house. I need to improve on X amount." What will give you the most value as far as home improvement goes?
Well, now we have to be careful with that also, because a lot of people feel that because they put a new chandelier in their home,
I bought these lamps from Walmart. 3 of them.
that's going to improve the price of your home. I'm not going to say it's not, but that's not the only thing that's going to improve your home. Because the home is basically appraised at the surrounding homes in the neighborhood that has sold. You know,
We try to comps, right?
yes,
Okay.
what's the comps? Now you do want your home to be in a, I'm sorry, can't find the word I'm trying to say. When someone come look in your home, it's it's
Right.
nice. So if you have to do the home improvements to get that, this is nice, that move in ready look,
Yeah.
then that will help. But just because you want to spend a lot of money on different things, it will not improve your home. Now, that's why I had to say it's certain things, because certain things an appraisal will require you to do or suggest it to be due. And those when it comes into different things like FHA. FHA is pretty strict
Okay.
with especially carpet. So if the carpet is kind of terrible, FHA might require the homeowner to replace the carpet. But, just make sure that you try to fix your home up, at least that someone will want to buy your home. But that alone would not add $20,000 worth of equity into your home.
Gotcha. So this is because I heard the term some people being upside down, meaning let's say you buy a house for $300,000, the property value around your house drops to, and now your house is worth
Had
215.
9 murders.
Yeah, now it's 215. Is that, can you even pull anything out of that, or you just
No,
shot?
your home now is
You
worth.
shot. You shot.
You're in the $215,000.
You ain't pulling nothing about it. All right.
No.
With that kind of situation when you're upside down, you just have to ride that one out.
That's it. You just
Yeah.
have to stay there. So, I mean, think about it. You have a mortgage for 30 years. Not saying you have to stay there the whole 30 years. But if you just moved in there, just stay, until the market comes back around. Just like a lot of people did when the crash of 2008. A lot of people, 99% of the people was underwater, but they continued to stay. The market became better, and now the property value has increased.
So that whole 2008, because some people, we hear the term just the market crashed, and people they just kind of leave it at that. Exactly what happened with that, like the 2008? What did it just?
Well, back
Like,
then they had a lot of loans. They really had a lot of loans out that assist people with getting in homes.
Mm-hmm.
They had what they call the subprime loans.
Okay.
Where you just can state your income, meaning you didn't have to prove your income.
Okay.
Or like a lot of self-employed buyers, when they write too many taxes off, sometimes they might have to use your bank statement. So needless to say, they had a lot of different loans that to help people be able to get in homes. But of course, when there's a lot of good things, people find a lot of ways to mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a lot of what they call straw buyers. And with the straw buyers, when you said you just stated your income, people pretend like they had homes when they were probably just homeless, but they had good credit. So people were purchasing homes in other people's names, or the people was purchasing in their own names, and they were getting paid a couple dollars, and then they wouldn't make any notes on the home. And so banks lost.
So they were
lots of
people
money.
were going to banks, getting homes in other people's names.
Well, the people have to. Well, a lot of times stuff is done online, over the phone,
okay.
and things like that.
Okay.
And when you say I get a stated loan, that means you state what you make. Say I make $6,000 a month. So of course your income had to match the job. You can't say I'm a can picker and I'm making $6,000, But if you're a truck driver, just to say I make $6,000, that's it.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. So people, when they say state your income, what do? I'm a truck driver. Oh, how much you make? Oh, I make $8,000, and that's what they went on.
So that basically they didn't have to provide any paperwork behind that. Just you take my word on my job title, and what I say, and then they would get these houses and couldn't pay.
They weren't. Yeah, because they weren't working. They didn't have a job.
Gotcha.
And so a lot of that was going on, and so people wasn't paying them mortgage, and a lot of banks lost money, and that's what
that contributed to the
downfall.
Gotcha.
So they wasn't paying the loan back, but they was offering them loans.
So I'm assuming since that happened, that a lot of those programs got.
A lot of them they're seeping in, but it's they're much stricter than what they were.
Gotcha.
They're much stricter than what they were at first.
Would you say that this is a seller's market or a buyer's market?
At this present time, it's a seller's market. It's more buyers than homes available. I'll put it like that, affordable homes. So people are competing. One home might get 20 offers.
Oh, wow, okay.
On that one home.
So
and sometimes people would bid overpriced just to be able to win the bid.
So you said
that's why it's a seller's market.
Yeah, that's why it's a seller's market.
Because the sellers have the power. They like, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So I just want to know, I don't know if you can touch on this, but you know how sometimes people couldn't afford the house, and this was kind of back in 2008 as well too, I guess, but people were squatting in homes. This is true. Like people were just squatting in homes, and they were like supposed to be gone, but they were just there. And I'm like, is that a true thing where you could just be in the house, like somebody moved out, it's a abandoned house, you just sitting?
If anybody come to check on me, I'm
Well, that's illegal, you know. That is not something that's supposed to be done.
They said, I got mail here. You can't get. I got 30 days. I got
like you had 180 days.
I got mail here. You can't come here for 30 days.
So, you know, the homeowner have to go through certain steps to be able to get people out of.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Remember to, what you can do is to, when you think about purchasing a home, like I said, keep your debt to income ratio down.
Okay.
Try to save money because you will have to have, there's some upfront expenses that you will have to, upfront monies that you have to put up. For instance, like your down payment. I mean, not your down payment, your earnest money. Your deposit money, $500 to $1,000, and then you also have to pay for your appraisal, which could range maybe about $475 to $500 something dollars. So it just really depends. Home inspection.
Mm-hmm.
So home inspection might be about $250. So, you know, just keep in mind that when you're getting ready to purchase a home, these are some of the fees, monies that you will need. Even though they might say you're getting no money down, but these fees, these items you will
come out of pocket for.
Have to come out of pocket for.
So, you know, when looking for a house, it can be very stressful. What are some tips do you think that home buyers should look for? You know, that's trying to it's getting stressful. I saw a house I really like, I really want it, but because it's a process. Yeah. So, what are some good tips you feel that will help through that process?
Just know that everything that you want in a home may not be in that home. If it's something that is a must-have or you got to have all these items, you might end up having to get you a custom-built home because every home is not going to have everything you want. Just remember that certain things are changeable. Do not buy a home because you don't like the color of the room. That's cosmetic.
Okay.
You can always paint, So small things like that, you can just make, it might be just small construction renovations that can be done to be able to get the home to where you wanted it. So just have to go into a home with open mind that you might not get everything that you want, but you have to pinpoint down what is most important for you. A lot of times if parents might have kids, they like this particular area for the school. So the home might not have in the kitchen, everybody wants to have the
island.
The island. It might not have the island, but if the kitchen is big enough, you might can go and put in a rolling island. So certain things
they want a vent coming like this new vent.
So if you don't like the stove, you can always change out the stove. Right. So just know that certain things can be changed. Even sometimes if you don't like the color of the house on the outside, if it's wood, paint it. So there's things that you can do to bring the home to what you would want it to be.
Oh, I do have a question. I just know sometimes some homes you can change. In Savannah, when you buy certain homes, they come with history. So it's in this block you can't change the color. Oh yeah. So do you suggest kind of researching
if it's in that area, and then your realtor will be able to inform you of that. So what you get, what you see is what you get.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can be adding another garage door to it and then like that. So it's like historical something, right? It's like historical.
Yeah. It's they're under protection. You can't change the colors or something like that.
Yeah, and then also you have to realize too that sometimes communities have homeowners association fee.
Right.
And so with that, they kind of just control the color of the home that you can paint. Sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be a hassle. They don't want for instance, you don't want Barney Fife, the house turned, loud purple painted next door to you. So sometimes homeowners association can control that type of things, or what type of fence or things like that you can put up in the neighborhood, because they try to keep it unified.
Okay. I do have a question. Going through trying to get a condo or trying to get a townhome or a house, what would be the best situation? What's the pros in each one, like a condo, a townhome, and a standardized house, like a house myself.
Well, the first thing is with the home, the home comes maintenance, a lot of maintenance, yard work, different things like that. So if it's a single family home, you have to think about you have the yard work and other things. And, like if you get a townhome or condo, homeowner association fees, depending on that, it will help cover. Some of them might do the yard, some of them might cover the trash, some of them might cover the water. So it just really depends on that particular homeowner association, what it covers. So you have to be careful with that. And then also you have to know that a homeowner, sometimes the fees can be quite expensive. It could be $200 or $300 extra a month on top of your mortgage payment. So then you have to realize to know that them cutting your yard or them paying your water bill, is it worth that extra $250 or $300 that you're paying? And but some of those fees, it depends on if it has a swimming pool or tennis. So you just have to really just see what the homeowner association is offering for that fee.
Now, can you roll that into your mortgage payment?
No, that's
just separate by itself.
Payment. Yeah.
Okay.
What can you roll into your mortgage payment?
I think can you do taxes?
Well, now when you say roll, okay, well basically when you're for instance, like with FHA, with FHA loans, you're gonna have your monthly payment, your homeowner's insurance, your taxes, and your mortgage insurance.
Okay.
So all those will be your one payment. And
Gotcha.
then if you have a homeowners association fee, they are going to calculate that along with your debt to income ratio. So that's another that goes along with your mortgage payment.
Okay.
Even though that will be paid to the homeowner association, but they still calculate that in your debt to income ratio.
So, Ms. Taffy, we want to let people know how they can contact you.
Okay. Well, you can contact me at 404-925-6530. I also have an online website that you can go to, geneva.com/Taffy-Daniels, and Geneva spelled GENEVA 5, which is FI.com/Taffy TAFFIE-Daniels DANIELS.
And we'll put that in the description below so you all can just click on it and go straight to it.
Okay.
And so if y'all have more additional questions that you want to know, you can put them below. I think she gave out her email address. You can email her about any additional questions, or if you want to have a meeting.
I didn't, but
You didn't? Oh, okay.
no.
Well, we'll put the email below. Okay. Yeah, so we'll have the email below, and you can check that out. And then if you have any questions for Ms. Daniels, you can go on there and talk one-on-one. Want to find out additional questions that we did not ask. Okay.
All right. Thank you all so very much for the opportunity.
Thank you for
coming
on. So this has been Ms. Taffy Daniels, mortgage specialist with Geneva, and we are out. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.
Peace.